Welcome everybody to a special tonight on ICU TV. Tonight we have a special interview with Captain Obvious, newly retired, and we're going to see several things about his life and what it was like being a superhero. Captain Obvious, I see today that you are not wearing your suit. Tell me about that.
Well, I am retired, so I don't need to possess my suit anymore or wear it all the time. So I did what every superhero does with their suit.
Oh, so you put it in a locked facility under armored guard, or maybe in a cave of some sort?
No, actually, I pawned it off.
Oh, why would you do that?
Well, I am a bit of a third-tier superhero, you might say, and I don't have the same trademark as punches like Superman or Spider-Man does. You don't see Captain Obvious action figures on the toy aisle, so a little bit of extra income is quite welcome to me.
So, Captain Obvious, tell me about one of your roles as being a superhero.
I am the opposite of a lawyer. I tell the truth. You see, lawyers aren't interested about telling the truth to other people. They're interested about persuading others to their point of view. I tell the very obvious truth and allow people to draw their own conclusions.
Okay, why don't you tell me about some of your relationships with the other superheroes, like Superman?
Superman, he's awesome. I mean, he's not really great about being a normal human being. He can't walk down the street in street clothes because if he stares at a girl too long, she'll burst into flames and other bad stuff. Spider-Man is a jerk. I mean, he steals my lines all the time, and he's really annoying teenager. Batman, he scares me. But Wonder Woman, she's hot. And, well, she kind of figured that out, that I thought that really quickly, and now she stopped returning my calls.
So, Captain Obvious, why don't you tell the audience and I about why exactly you are retiring?
The internet. My job as a superhero was to spread obvious information to people. The internet provides all that. You can Google search the obvious answer for whatever question you have. Wikipedia does that too. I'm just not needed by society anymore.
So, why don't you tell me about one of your finest moments as a superhero?
Well, I helped George Lucas. Yeah, he was having a bit of a trouble coming up with names for the story that's coming out, so I gave him the name Star Wars. I also helped him name a couple vehicles, such as like the X-Wing fighter and the Death Star. The Star Destroyers were a little bit tricky because like they actually can't destroy the stars, just to tell you. But he liked the TIE fighter idea. I mean, it was a bit of an off day. I thought it kind of looked like bow ties. But I never understood why he came up with the name Y-Wing fighter for some of his for the whatever they are. But I always thought they looked more like football goalposts. But I think overall I did a pretty good job with that.
So, why don't you tell me about the kind of people you were helping, like your superhero clientele?
Men mostly, and of the men, mostly teenage boys. You see, because they're at a very confusing time at their lives. I mean, look at Redundant Boy. He asked out the same girl 4 times to prom after she said yes, and the only reason she said yes is because, well, it's Gullible Girl.
So, speaking of Redundant Boy, why don't you tell us about your partnership with him? He was your sidekick, right?
Well, I don't think we needed Redundant Boy to begin with, but the League of Superheroes insisted, so I accepted him, of course, as a superhero. But then Batman decided to assign Redundant Boy to me, and that just kind of ruined it all. After that, there was no smooth sailing.
So what you're saying is that you and Redundant Boy really didn't have that great of a relationship?
Well, let's just be honest and obvious here. They could have assigned me a thesaurus as my sidekick and saved me a great deal of time and trouble. I mean, Redundant Boy just repeats himself over and over and over again. The whole point of Captain Obvious is that he says the truth one time. Having Redundant Boy as a sidekick kind of negates my superpower.
Thank you very much, Captain Obvious, for being here. Stay tuned after the break when we'll have more interviews with people like Redundant Boy.
Have you ever been thirsty?
Water! From the people who brought you the water packet, the revolutionary new way to store water, we bring you canned water. It's dehydrated water.
Step 1. Just add water.
Welcome back to our special on Captain Obvious. Right with me now is Redundant Boy, former sidekick of Captain Obvious. Now, Redundant Boy, why don't you tell us about your first experience with Captain Obvious?
I was so excited to finally be accepted into the League of Superheroes. I've been applying for years and I've never been accepted. But I was finally let in. I was accepted. They patched me up with Captain Obvious and that was awesome. I mean, it was great. Until I figured out it was him who was rejecting all of my applications. And I became very obvious that Captain Obvious didn't like me.
In what way would he manifest his dislike towards you?
I wouldn't call it dislike per se, more like outright hatred. There were some times when I realized he didn't quite like me, and then other times where I didn't think he enjoyed my presence. He started off by calling me names when he was angry, mad, or furious. It started off with Thesaurus, and then it went to Thesaurodon and Thesauratops, and then the Thesaurinator. I actually like that one.
So why don't you tell us, the audience, about what life was like back at the secret lair?
Let's be quite frank and tell the truth. Honestly, Captain Obvious could not have a secret lair. He's not very secret, he's quite obvious. We mostly hung out at the cubicle in his day job. We would file paperwork, and he'd make me lick the envelopes. All of the envelopes. Even the ones that didn't have a note or a letter in them. I didn't think he liked me very much.
How difficult would you say it was to keep his identity a secret?
You mean you don't know who he is? I mean, he's not very good at keeping a secret. It's not like he's, hiding himself or anything. I mean, one time we were trying to infiltrate Dr. Not-So-Nice's lair. He wasn't very kind. And we were going in there, and through an unforeseeable turn of events, we got captured at the front gates. It might have had something to do with Captain Obvious saying, "I'm here to kill you." And then I told them, "He's here to kill you." And then we got captured and thrown into a dark little cell. Batman came to save us, but he took his sweet time doing it. I almost wish he took a lot longer. He scares me.
You worked pretty close with Captain Obvious, I'd say. So why don't you tell us some close and personal feelings that he had shared with you?
He did share some things with me. I mean, mostly about how depressed he was, that society didn't need him anymore, and about how he was going to counseling, and about how society didn't need him anymore. And I don't think he's suicidal or on suicide watch or anything, but he was kind of depressed, and he was talking a lot about how this society didn't need him at all.
Thank you very much, Redundant Boy. And that's all we have in our show today. Join us next time on ICU TV when we talk about the mysterious disappearance of Gullible Girl. Welcome back to our special on Redundant Man. Dang it, that sucks.
From the people who brought you canned water, I suck at